My name is Tertius Janus, and I'm the owner of Fusion Business IT Solutions and also Fusion Business Systems. And we specialize in cloud computing as well. And I'm excited to announce today as well that in the next couple of weeks we are going to open a new database center here in Grand Prairie, specifically for hosting cloud-based applications. My intent today is not to argue for or against cloud computing, but to try and make this informative so that you as a business owner or business specialist can see if this is maybe a need for your company and if you can see a fit for yourself using cloud-based computing. Cloud computing is a buzzword that everybody is talking about. What does it really mean? What does it really do for us? Although the term is new, the concept definitely isn't. Most of you here present today probably has a company website. You probably have a TELUS email account, or you probably come home at night and you see your kids on iTunes and spending some of your valuable Visa money buying some songs or some software. Guess what? You're using cloud computing. So again, not a new buzzword, but the concept already has been out there. In its very basic form or definition, it is merely hosted solutions off-site. So there's a number of shared servers out there, and they have shared applications and databases that you can access. I like to think of cloud computing as old wine in a new bottle. So basically what it does, it extends what you currently have, and it gives it new meaning, it gives it new options. Also, it's like an electrical grid. It's high availability and it's on demand. Let's look at the types of cloud computing. You have infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. There are a number more of those, but those are the main three. Infrastructure as a service normally refers to your virtual machines, your storage, and your load balancers and/or your firewalls. Platform as a service is mainly tools for developers, like the main one there, Windows Azure, that you can use. And then the one that I alluded to previously is your software as a service, which refers to your email or CRM applications that's being hosted online. Let's look at the deployment models of cloud computing. There are mainly three of them. The first one is the public one. Most known one is Amazon. So it's a service that's available to everyone. Then you have the private cloud, or what we also term corporate cloud. And normally that can be hosted still on site or by a third party, such as a company like us. Then the hybrid solution, that gives you a bit of both worlds, and main applications of those you will find is normally for backup solutions or email archiving. How does it work? Very, very high level. It is from any device. It's device independent or location independent. You make a request, it goes to what we call a master server. Normally the master server uses rules, or what is also termed protocols. It looks at what your request is, and then it merely finds it and presents it back to you, and normally not, like I said, location specific. Let's look at the key features of cloud computing. Now again, I just want to stress that depending on what your current business infrastructure is, some of the pros and cons might not be a pro or a con for your individual company. But let's start on the negative side and let's go and end on the positive side. So with cloud computing, there's definitely a loss of control over your enterprise and your customer data. Close to that is the security portion thereof. You have no control who might be snooping, looking at data, or it's known fact that hackers will probably want prestige and they would go after the big players and not smaller businesses. If your infrastructure is not ready for cloud computing, you will find that app access might become slow, and as we can see, productivity will definitely not benefit from it. Depending on what your ISP contract is set up, it could become costly as well, because now you don't you use a lot more data and you haven't planned for the data cap what your internet service provider allow you to use. Then single points of failure. There are two mainly single points of failure now. Number one is your cloud provider, and the second one is your local service provider. Why I say that is negative? Now the costs go up because you probably want to have two service providers now. And preferably when we do an implementation like this, we would normally give you a fiber line and a type of Wi-Fi solution in case a cable gets cut. Then the pricing cap. Right now, most service providers can hike their prices. So right now you might be paying $6 for an email account with Google. Well, nothing stops them from raising that next month to $8, the next year to $10. So there's no price regulation at this point. Then about the data, who owns the data? Certain rules that will apply in Alberta or in Canada might not apply if your data is being hosted in, say, Germany, Holland, Britain, doesn't matter where. Even realtors in Alberta are not allowed to host their data on servers outside of Alberta. So you've got to think on where your data is going to sit and who has access to it. Especially in international, nothing stops the government from claiming their data. So you've got to be careful. Then right now, the big building block or stumbling block, I would say, and I definitely think there's room for improvement for cloud computing about this, is about service level agreements. They're very poorly defined. The papers that you have to read on these to understand it is about 100 pages. I will read them for you if you pay me, but most people won't read them. So they just blindly go into these contracts, and support is still lacking. There has been really outcry of end users on this, so there has definitely been some positive, better support solutions out there, but still definitely room for improvement. Now let's go and look on the plus side. Agility. One of the big positives I see about this cloud computing solutions is that you can provide your users with an application access very rapidly. Within days, you can sign up, get license for a specific app that normally you could have waited for another computer to come to your store, but now within days it is available. Then online collaboration. It has just become fantastic how we can remotely and all over the world get in touch with people. So definitely a positive there. Then definitely for me the playing fields have become equal. What I mean by that is that now smaller businesses, they have access to enterprise solutions that they previously don't have. So now the cost is a lot less because there's not all that implementation cost, so definitely makes it a lot more affordable getting enterprise solutions. As I said earlier, it's a device and location independent. Again, the lady there, I'm not sure how productive she is, but let's give her the benefit of the doubt. So definitely that speaks for itself. Also, you have access to a lot more information globally. Very, very good feature. Maintenance, I definitely think it makes for easier maintenance because you don't install applications on each machine now. So definitely a cut in your IT overhead there. And then the total cost of ownership, again, I think there's definitely benefit there because now you only pay for what you need and you don't have to go and buy bundles of software or bundles of licensing. That highlights the benefits. Again, if we must do a quick SWOT analysis on cloud computing, it definitely has its strengths. Cost saving, on-demand access, available everywhere. It has its weaknesses right now. The main one I think at this point is the server level agreements. There's definitely opportunities for businesses. They can really, like I said, restructure their business and make it optimized to make them a lot more competitive. And still, always there will be some threats. We can't always prepare. The guy that's being hacked, he always thinks, I'm not going to become hacked, but you just never know. Privacy, again, that will be addressed, and I think we just have to look at those carefully when we look for those specific options. So the bottom line for me, if I must summarize about cloud computing, is it's definitely something I think that any business should not ignore. What works for one business or one solution as far as a cloud service might not work for a different business. There's enough companies in town, locally, that can definitely assist businesses with making those proper decisions and define what works best for them. One thing always to keep in mind is what it's going to cost me, especially when you have to build in redundancy, when you're going to rely totally on cloud computing. What we normally do is we sit down with you, we look at what your critical applications is and said, okay, if your internet is down, if the service provider is down, do you have to send everybody home? You've got to think about that. So a lot of companies will specify certain applications to say, okay, well, if I can just have this done, we can probably take care of payroll, or we can get work orders out the way. So definitely my advice is to look at your IT companies in Grand Prairie. Contact them when you are ready to make a cloud-based decision. Again, I want to thank you for your time. My name is Tertius Jennis, with Fusion Business IT Solutions. We will put you in Cloud9. Thank you for your time.